Only a few more weeks until Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference. Yeah! Hi, I'm Aaron Jones and welcome to another vlog coming to you from Niihama in Japan. And today I wanted to give you my predictions for the 2016 Worldwide Developers Conference held by Apple, which will take place from June 13th to the 17th. And they always open up with the keynote and they announce a lot of new cool stuff, particularly in the software area of Apple products. This is a developers conference, and so they always give up the big updates for the major parts of the software of their devices. So I wanted to give you a little bit of my predictions of what I think will happen and some things that I want to see happen. So let's go! First, I think they're going to update Apple Music. This rumor has been going around the internet that they're going to do a revamp of the application, the Apple Music application, also for its version on the Mac OS. Mac OS. We'll talk about Mac OS later. On the Mac OS X10. The iTunes version will be updated for some new features, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I do not use Apple Music. I do use iTunes in the cloud, but I don't have a subscription to Apple Music here in Japan. They have it, but I haven't subscribed. I just put my own music up in iTunes in the cloud, and that's enough for me. But there's supposed to be an update to the application and services. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, don't use it that much myself. But this brings us to the main things that they're always announced at the Worldwide Developers Conference at the keynote. And of course, it's going to be the next iOS, which will probably be iOS 10. So I'm looking forward to seeing what new features will come out. And then we can kind of thinking what is coming up in September, probably when the new iPhone is announced, iPhone 7 or iPhone Pro or whatever they're going to call the next iteration. And some things I want to see is, I heard and I would like to see, is you can hide native apps. So the apps that are native to iOS, like a calendar or some things that, that Apple puts on there that you can't get rid of, but you can hide them. Passbook, for example, if you don't use Passbook, you can hide that application. And so that is a rumor that's coming out, and some other secret features. And one thing I would like to see is Apple Pay in Japan. Right now Apple Pay is not available in Japan, but I would like to see it in Japan. Now I am using an iPhone 5S, which doesn't have the chip to do that, but I do have one of these which can do it. So Apple Watch, of course, can use Apple Pay, but so far here in Japan, not available. And also with Apple Pay, I heard the rumors going around is that they will be adding support for Apple Pay to use in the Safari browser on iOS. So, and I haven't seen any other big leaks, and Tim Cook had said there's some things coming. So that one we're going to have to find out. The next, of course, is the Mac OS update. They always have that out, the Mac OS 10, but it's now, I heard they're going to change the name from whatever, it's OS 10. They're going to change it to Mac OS. I keep calling it Mac OS because it seems so natural, but that's going to be the new name. Mac OS, whatever they're going to call it this year. Last year was El Capitan, and what they're going to call it this year, who knows? We'll find out in just a few weeks. But the big feature for Mac OS that seems to be that Siri is coming to Mac OS. And I would like to see that because I do use Siri a lot. It works fine here in Japan. It doesn't work on the Apple TV in Japan, which is strange because it works perfectly on the watch. It works perfectly on the iOS, but it doesn't work. It's not really activated for Apple TV in Japan, even on English mode or Japanese mode. So hopefully when I talk about the Apple TV in a second, but that's a feature that I want. Siri on Mac OS would be great because then you can use your Mac by calling Siri to do stuff. So I look forward to seeing that, if that is in fact true. Next is Apple Watch and Watch OS 3. So hopefully they announce Watch OS 3. Not a lot of rumors. It'd probably be speculation of what is announced, what we can see possibly coming out in the next iteration of the Apple Watch. But I would like to see things running a little bit faster. as everything has to become native very soon. A lot of native apps I find recently after the last watch OS update, which I forget the number at the moment, seems to be running a lot faster. And so hopefully with watch OS 3, it will run even faster. So far I've been very happy. I did a vlog about using my Apple Watch for the last couple of months, and I have been very happy with it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new OS. And one thing I would like to see, and I think most people would like to see, is custom watch faces. Other companies can put their own watch faces on the watch. That would be something I would welcome, because that would make it, you can change more customization. And of course, there's going to be tvOS. And like I said, in Japan here, Siri doesn't work well. It doesn't, in fact, work at all. You can use your voice to search, but you can't use Siri as its main thing. So hopefully that comes to Japan with the next update. I would like to see that. And with other future features, I would just like to see better content. This is better other applications. Now, this is not really Apple's problem. This is the developer problem. But somehow some promotion to help developers make better applications and stuff for the Apple TV, other than just the video content that's on there. Games and stuff I'd like to see better. There are a lot of games on there, but they're very much just blown up versions of the iOS games. I would like to see some regular video games coming back. Sega has done this. They got Sonic the Hedgehog on there and it works just great. I would like to see some more retro stuff like that being put on the Apple TV. So I don't have any things I really want other than bring Siri to Japan so I can use Siri on my Apple TV. And speaking about Siri, there's a lot of rumors recently that they're going to bring out their own Siri box type thing like the Amazon Echo. And that would be great. Now with Siri on Mac OS, you could probably use your computer as that as well. You can just have your computer on and, hey Siri, and then your computer can do it. But having an own little box somewhere might be useful. It might fit into HomeKit or some features for the Apple TV, doing that with the control. But you do have to hold the controller down to activate the voice. But something that's live that you can do that with, like on the Amazon Echo, and see what Apple's spin on this kind of artificial intelligence separate own device will be like. And that would be something interesting to see. But again, this is the Worldwide Developers Conference and not a lot of hardware is announced, but perhaps we'll get a clue about this coming out sometime, maybe with a Siri API allowing other third-party developers to tap more into Siri to use Siri better on the iPhone, iOS, Mac OS, if it comes out on their Apple Watch. That would be something I would like to see. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is hardware. Like I mentioned, they don't do a lot of hardware, but it's possible that MacBooks and MacBook Pros could be announced, or they don't mention anything like that, and after the event is done, on the Apple Store, new MacBooks and MacBook Pros will appear. I like to see upgrades. I'm looking forward to updating my MacBook Pro sometime in the future. I have a MacBook Pro I bought in the December of 2009 or January 2010. It works great. It still works wonderfully. It's the best computer I've ever owned. The only thing I ever had to replace was the battery. The battery got old and it started to expand, so I bought a new one and put that in. But everything else works wonderfully on it. But in the next couple of years, I'd like to upgrade to a newer version. So I would like to see a new version of the MacBook Pro come out, and because that is what I like. And a MacBook is very thin, but I want a little more powerful because sometimes I like to do video stuff on there. But the MacBook Air, maybe it is dead because the MacBook is thin, and then I'm imagining that the next MacBook Pro is also going to be very, very, very thin. So MacBook Air may no longer be its own thing. It might be just disappear because the MacBook is very, very thin as it is, but very expensive, unless they do put out a MacBook Air that's as thin but not as expensive. Anyways, this video has gone on too long. What do you think? What do you want to see at the Worldwide Developers Conference that Apple's going to put on in just a few weeks on June 13th? Go ahead, let me know in the description below. And if you're interested in other geek and Apple and all kinds of stuff that I talk about on my very eclectic vlog, go ahead and subscribe up there. Press that subscribe button. And don't forget to like and share. And that's all for today. And until next time, see you then. Goodbye.